Rick Altman writes that all genres can be broken down into two component elements, the semantic and the syntactic.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
Semantic elements are the actual things you're gonna see on film. Action movie semantics are things like guns, car chases, exotic locations, and foreign villains. Syntactic elements, they're everything that you don't see. The themes, the stakes, and the overall use of tension. Think order versus chaos, or an individual fighting a system, or the redemptive nature of violence. Neither element is strong enough to hold up a genre on its own. Just semantics and your movie has no backbone. Just syntax and your movie has no flesh. You need both if you want something to truly come together. New question. What happens to your semantics and your syntax when you make an action movie in a different place, for a different audience, with different perspectives and values? Obviously they change, but how? To best answer that question, I want to compare two seminal works in the genre, John Wick and Yetman.
Evening, John.
Evening, Jimmy. Noise complaint.
At their core, they are very similar movies. John Wick is about an unstoppable hitman coming out of retirement to get revenge for his murdered dog. And Yetman is about an unstoppable martial artist leaving pacifism behind to fight oppression. Despite how similar they are, they're also very different in some very, very important ways. One of the most common syntactic elements in action movies is that of the individual versus the system. Action stars are always lone warriors fighting desperately against the bloated and corrupt powers that be. It's a very Western way of seeing the world. Here in the West, the individual comes before all. We value personal freedoms, privacy, and the right to do as one sees fit. Over in the East, though, the collective takes higher priority. There's a cultural tendency to think about the big picture first and yourself second. You can even see those philosophies bleeding through into both movies. John Wick plays it right down the middle. The movie is literally about one person fighting against an entire system of villains for his own personal reasons. Yetman, on the other hand, isn't just about one guy, it's about the people and the power of collective action. About halfway through the movie, there's a great fight scene where Yep beats up 10 Japanese soldiers at once. It's beautiful, savage, triumphant, and useless. Afterwards, we see him staring at a truck, carrying even more soldiers into his town. He's only one man, he can only do so much, and it's a turning point in the movie. From there out, he does everything for his community. He trains them, he leads them, and in the end, he sacrifices himself for them. Over and over, the movie shows that it's not only about an individual versus a system, it's also about the people versus a system. Another way the movies diverge is in their fight choreography. John fights in a quick, effective, and lethal manner. When he doesn't kill his opponent instantly with a revolver, he disarms or takes them to the ground in order to get a clear shot. Very often in a few seconds. The choreography depicts John as this experienced fighter that knows exactly where his next victim will be, just based on cues in the fight scene. Since he takes little to no time switching from target to target, it appears to be almost automatic and frankly a bit cold. Master Yep, on the other hand, never attacks first, and is very often seen using his opponent's moves against them. He grabs, he deflects, he pushes, and he takes advantage of the holes in his opponent's defense. In almost every fight scene, Egmond spends most of his time negating all of his opponent's moves before countering with a precise and calculated motion. He is often shown holding back from seriously wounding his opponent by stopping before contact or pushing them away. Now, these differences, they are a matter of cultural history. Eastern martial arts have been a prevalent part of the culture since the 5th century. They're more than just a way of fighting, it's art. Take the Beijing opera, for example. This genre of Chinese theater tells sweeping, larger-than-life stories and almost always incorporates martial arts as part of their choreography. To them, martial arts aren't just a way of inflicting harm on others, it's a way of telling stories. Where Yetman treats martial arts as something to be respected and deified, John Wick treats them like a tool to reach an objective. The truth is, neither of these movies exist within a vacuum. John Wick is as Eastern as Yetman is Western. In this postmodern world, the barriers between nations have become so thin that it's hard to tell where one influence stops and another starts. Just look at these movie sequels. John Wick gets progressively more Asian, while Yetman gets progressively more American. Stephen Theo would call them examples of transnationalism. They are the product of more countries that you can shake a stick at and more people that you can possibly imagine. And I think that's beautiful. Some people like to criticize the genre, and to them I say this. If it were not for transnational action movies, we would have never seen John Wick fight samurais on a motorcycle. And we'd definitely never have seen Yetman fighting a racist British boxer. And is that really a world you want to be living in? Yeah, me neither.
Good night, John.
Good night.
Yetman.